Hey guys, what's up? It's Teeds here coming at you with another Tips with Teeds for College Football 25. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel if you are new. This video right here is if you are struggling to play defense. I definitely know I struggled to play defense starting this game. Legitimately did not play defense the first 2 to 3 weeks when this game came out. I only played offense. I let the CPU handle the defense, and I did not want anything to touch with it because I knew and saw everybody that was playing online and posted everything that how difficult it was. So I stayed away from it as long as I could until I kind of figured it out slowly but surely. But this video right here is going to benefit anybody that is struggling with defense. Now, before we even get started on the field, this is something that is key. I saw this, I forget who I watched it on YouTube, but there is a setting that you need to change, and this will make life so much easier. You already know how difficult it is to tackle somebody one-on-one in open space, whether they spin, they juke, they stop. It's just very, very difficult to do. But if you go all the way down here on defensive heat seeker assists, once you go into settings, obviously, you got to turn this on because for whatever reason, a lot of the time it's off. It'll be set on to the window size at about like 100%, which a lot of people think is the maximum setting, but 200% is the best. And what this actually does, I don't have any video to show you this, but when it comes to making a tackle one-on-one, your player will square up with your defender or the offense or whoever you're going up against a lot easier, making a lot easier open field tackles. Not just making the tackles, but also giving you a lot of confidence when it comes to going one-on-one. So that's one thing that I would highly recommend doing first is making sure that your settings, you have defensive heat seeker assist on. You can put it on when you do online college football playoff. I haven't looked on Ultimate Team because I don't really play Ultimate Team, but on Dynasty, online Dynasties, and all that, you want to make sure that this is on because it's going to make life so much easier. Now, just to show you as well, I'm playing on Heisman. Okay, just so that's clear, everyone's able to see that. Now, are you someone that maybe is playing somebody that you're getting beat on drag route? Those are very OP, especially if you're going man-to-man. Zone definitely helps you when it comes to beating drag routes. So just in general, I love using a zone defense. Probably like 70% of the time, that's what I like to do. It hides speed discrepancies. I don't know if that's the right term, but where you have a cornerback that's an 88 speed, you have a receiver that's like a 96. There's no way you can keep up with a man-to-man if you do that all game. But if you put in zones and you have players running to those certain spots, you can disguise that a lot better. So that's why I like using zones, because receivers majority of the time are going to be a lot faster than the cornerbacks, at least for the majority of defenses that you will be playing with. So that is why I like going to zones. But back to it, if you're going up against drag routes and you're having an issue, you're just getting dinked and dunked all game long, and there's not much that you can do. They're just doing this all day, 5-10 yards. That's kind of more annoying than getting beat by deep balls, because at least with deep balls, at least it takes some skill. This, you just drop back to pass, wide open here. Okay, they beat you 10 yards, lay down, and then they move the chains. And not only that, but your defense gets tired, being on the field for so long, and there's just nothing you feel like you can do. There are ways to stop this, and I have found the most success by going with the Tampa 2. And as long as, again, you know that your opponent is constantly just doing drag routes, it's something you don't have to worry about whether they might beat you deep. But if they do beat you deep, that's something that you might need to be paying attention to as well. But like I said, I like to go in the Tampa 2 defense, as you see here. Now, on top of that, one thing I always recommend as well is putting your defensive ends on a coverage assignment. This is also if your opponent is not running the ball, with their quarterback, you don't have to really worry too much about that. But even if you do, by putting them on a defensive assignment, they're going to put themselves ready to go. They're just waiting for the quarterback to run at them. So in order to give your player a coverage assignment, you press A or X on PlayStation, and then what I recommend is a vertical hook down on the left stick. By doing this, you're going to put your player in good position to defend that quick drag route. As again, I'll do it on my right end as well. I'm going to put him on a vertical hook down on the left stick here. And as you can see there, they are both dropping back into coverage. And now let's see how the drag route works. Throwing that drag route, boom, he got lucky there. Got very lucky. Now let's see what happens if I hold the ball an extra second here as I set up these defensive assignments on my defensive ends here. So again, I'm going to be dropping them back into coverage here. and they're going to put themselves in the play, and it's going to make it very, very difficult to throw the ball here. And boom, look at that. Knocks it out, no problem. It is a little risky, of course, because you're not putting too much pressure on the quarterback, but if they're constantly getting the ball out, you don't need to worry about that. I know when it comes to me, I always like getting the ball out quickly, so very rarely will I just sit back there for 4 to 5 seconds, and then if I don't see anybody, run. That's my issue right there for me. I like getting the ball as quickly as possible. But if you put these guys out, and let's see what other things we can do. Let's see what happens if we put them on hard flats by going left on the analog stick here. That might, let's see, that might actually work. Let's see what happens. Hiking the ball here, drop back to pass, looking. Oh, and he's, boom, nothing can be there, and almost picked it off. So you putting your defensive ends on, these little coverage assignments could be a huge help on defense, especially with that. Because once you take something away that somebody is comfortable with doing, then you take them into the uncomfortable. Now they got to do something that they're not comfortable with, and that equates to turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, and bad decisions. So that's something that you definitely want to think about when it comes to struggling when playing defense and you're getting beat by drag routes. Do not be scared, especially if they're going one side of the field or the other. Majority of the time, they'll probably go left a lot of the time or right. They're not going to even it out, left one, right the other. So if they're going strictly left once, maybe you don't have to put both defensive ends in coverage. You can just do one and then use your middle linebacker to, pick that off. So just keep that in mind the next time that you are getting beat by drag routes. Are you playing an opponent that is constantly beating you on corner routes? That is very, very frustrating because it looks like your defense is locked down and then they find a little zone in the corners of the left and the right in the field and just are dominating you. I know I had an issue when I first started playing this game online. Even when I was playing against the CPU, they would just be able to just easily hit these corner routes, and I had nothing to stop them. Fortunately, I found a defense that really works. I really love the mug defense. I started messing around with that on my own. I definitely felt a little uncomfortable when I started doing it, but the cover 3 sky is OP. It basically covers almost every single kind of pass plays that the offense is bringing at you, and I highly recommend giving this a chance, especially if you're getting beat on corner routes. The reason being, if you look at the coverage here, you see the purple routes on the left and the right of the screen right here. You have a cornerback on the right side and then a cornerback on the left side because there's only one, receiver out there. He's not fully out there looking like, making it seem like it's an actual, coverage. But what they do is they drop into those open spots that I showed you earlier that the Tampa 2 does not defend well. And what's crazy is that they'll just drop right into that zone. So if let's say you've gotten hit 2 to 3 times early in a game, you're playing someone you've never played before, and that's just all they're hitting you with. And that's like the only pass plays that they're really, really hitting you with. Give them this play and watch what happens as I'll show you this play on offense as I'm going to go for number 5 here, Lamonius Craig off the corner route, and just see what happens when it comes to the coverage. Defender is right there, almost picks it off. Like, it looks like he's going to get beat. Do it again here. Drop back to pass here. Throwing it. Boom. There's not much you can do. You might be able to get lucky there, but a lot of the time, when the ball is in the air, like, I'm going to try and do this with 2, controllers, one on offense, one on defense, but I'm going to try and user my player to pick it off after I throw the pass. I'm not as good as some of these other YouTubers, but let's see how this looks. They drop back to pass, looking, throws it. User, boom, easy pick, and that's with 2 controllers. So you can easily just switch to your defender once that does get thrown, and then you can pick that off very, very easily, cut that route, and then kind of give your opponent something else to deal with here as I'm trying to do it again here. Throwing it. Tried to go for it, but hey, we got a knockdown. I'll take a ball to the ground rather than a touchdown or a deep pass every single time. So again, cover 3 sky out of the double mug nickel defense is very OP. I'll show you guys again one more time, but just look how the receiver looks like he's open, right? He's open. Oh, wait, there's someone there. And now there's 3 defenders all joining at the receiver right there. And again, I'll do it again just to show you, like, this play is so crazy. And if I'm on defense, I'm able to easily just pick that off. Like 9 times out of 10. No joke. If you take a look at one of my series that I have on here, whether it's Fresno State, whether it's Hofstra, or I think that's all I got on right now, and then you end up is I'll do it one more time for you to, this is how you stop the corner routes, people. Picking it off and running it back would be a lot better, but hey, an incompletion is just as good. Are you struggling stopping a running quarterback? I know that is something that has been a big issue for people over the years. because if a player can't pass, well, they're going to be scrambling with their quarterback. Anytime I run up against anybody with a fast quarterback, I always assume that they are going to run with him until they show me that they don't, which is very rare. But basically, anytime you go against Alabama, you're going to be facing someone running with Milrow. And I've played plenty of Alabama teams where they're just running with Milrow. Drop back to pass, faking, and then scrambling for a touchdown, or scrambling, trying to make something happen. And with Milrow, he breaks a lot of tackles, so it's very, very irritating. But there is a way to stop the running quarterbacks, and it's not as difficult as you think. If you tap R1 or RB on Xbox, it brings up this thing right here. If you press it again, RB or R1 on PlayStation, you give yourself a contain. And what that'll do is that makes sure that the defensive ends contain the quarterback from scrambling outside. I know a lot of the times quarterbacks will hike the ball and they'll run to the outside because there's not really many people there. And with how bad the angles are and the pursuit angles are in this game, you want to make sure that you have every advantage that you can. Now, this is pretty much going to lock it up and make it difficult for any quarterback to run, as I'll try to do it myself here. Then drop back to pass, looking, trying to get outside, and this guy's right there. I could not do anything right there. But now let's see what happens if they run right off the bat. Again, R1 or RB on Xbox, I'm going to put on the QB contain, and let's see what happens here. Get the ball, running outside, and look at him. He's right there the whole time, and I'm not even controlling that. That's just only the CPU, and it's very, very difficult if they try to get outside. Now, what happens if you do that? You set this up, but the quarterback just does this, drops back to pass, and runs right up the middle. Boom. If there's not much there, you can still get 5 to 8 yards. So another way to stop that, again, if they're only doing this, they're constantly running on you, and you know that this is going to happen, not only do you throw the QB contain on there, but what I also like to do is take one of my defensive linemen and then press A or X on PlayStation and then right stick to the left. That will put him on a spy. So not only do you have the QB contain on for the quarterback, but you have another defender over the middle that isn't really going to engage with the line. And by doing that, that means that he is not going to be blocked and pushed off to the side, which opens up the lane for the quarterback to run up the middle. So just take a look at this. I drop back to pass, looking, I want to go up the middle, but now my lineman, he's got no one to block, and now I can't even run up there because he's right there, and that lineman is right there for me to run into. And again, I'm going to set this up here. As you see here, I got the QB contain as well as another QB contain, or a QB spy, should I say, with my defensive line. I'll hike the ball, drop back to pass, look, and I can't really do anything because the massive defensive lineman is right there. And not only will you make sure they get either no yards, you might get a fumble. You know, even if you don't sack him or if you don't tackle him right there, you're going to slow him down with your players. So even if you don't, he's still going to get no more than 1 to 2 yards. Again, I'll set this thing up on defense as I'm just going to drop back to pass, look, and then run straight up the middle. And look, there's nothing I can do there. Look, he didn't even have me, but the amount of time that it took for me to try to break the tackle, the other defenders were there to stop me. Very, very simple. You don't have to do too much to your defense to stop a running quarterback. And I know when you face Jalen Milrow or any other fast, quarterback, the quarterback from Arkansas, other players, sometimes they break tackles. But when you have them try to break multiple tackles, well, that's difficult. And I've had a time where I went up against Milrow and he broke 3 straight tackles, but I had a 4th guy right there. Because all the time that he took to break the tackles, it allowed for my team to engage on him, and there was nothing that he can do. So you definitely want to add this to your repertoire. If you are struggling with that, do this. It'll make life so much easier, because now if they're running with the ball a lot, they clearly do not know how to pass the ball that well. And now when you're forcing them to pass, I'll show you again. If you're a linebacker, you can just still chill back here and use the linebacker. So not only do you have your defensive line set, but you're not doing anything and jeopardizing the rest of your defense with this. This is only going to help you. And this makes so many people mad, because if they can't run, well, then they're screwed. So definitely want to add this to your playbook. Like this video again if this did help. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I know this is a big one for a lot of people, including myself, but I figured this out a long time ago, back when I used to play college football or NCAA football back in the day, how to stop it. And my friends would get so irritated because they would want to play with Pat White. They want to play with Tim Tebow. They'd want to play with Vince Young and just scramble and run around and then score touchdowns. Well, if I put the defensive ends back on the day before they made it easy to QB contain, I would put the defensive ends on spy, and I'm like, good luck. Now you got to pass it. There's nothing you can do. And that's another thing you can do as well, obviously, like I just mentioned here, is you can put them on a spy as well, but it's not as quick. It's a lot quicker to just do RB, and boom, you're done. Are you having trouble stopping the run? I know that sometimes it can happen. Sometimes they get through the hole. Sometimes there just seems like there's nothing you can do. But this has been the most effective way for me to stop the run. Again, like I just mentioned earlier in the video, I really enjoy the nickel double mug defense. I will blitz from it. I'll do cover 3 sky. I'll run Tampa 2. 3 plays basically that I run out of this when I run this defense, and there's not much that people can do if I guess correctly. And this right here is, I mean, it's fairly simple, right? If you're struggling at getting stops on the run. So as you see my blitzers right here, or my defensive linemen, right? They're lined up on the ball, and they're all their little, angles are going straight down to the defenders, right? Just going straight down, the little red arrows right there. See what happens when you press left on the D-pad and then right stick. That means you slant them right. As you see right there, it says slant right. Now you see the defensive linemen, their assignments, they are running to the right. And why I do this every single time that I play. Every single pre-snap, I do this just in case that they run the ball. And so what this does is they're going to cut through those gaps through the right side. And why I do that is because they are obviously, if they're going to hand the ball off and not run a QB option, they're going to hand it off. Well, they obviously can only run it to the right side. So it's almost a guarantee every single time. So if they have the running back on the right side, I will slant the defensive line to the left side to cut through those gaps. And it really, really helps. Look, I'll show you right here. We hand the ball off here. Boom. Stopped right in the backfield. Sometimes you're going to stop in the backfield. Majority of the time, you'll clog up the holes, make it very difficult for them to run. But that is something that you definitely want to add. Because again, I'm going to show you again here. They're all just running straight. They're basically pinching themselves down to the middle of the field. But if you set up the audible, set it up to the right. Come on, show me. You see that right here, all the defensive linemen, there's 4 of them. 1 on the left, 1 on the left center, 1 on the right center, and 1 on the right. And they are all going to be running to the right side. This is going to make it very difficult, especially if the right defensive end is able to cut off and contain on that side. I try to get there, and they break through the line, and I had nowhere to go. So that is something, again, if you're struggling with stopping the run, add this. Do this every single time. Just like it was when you're trying to stop a mobile QB or a running quarterback, this is a very easy fix. Because even if you set up a contain, which I will right here, as you see, they're not contained. But I do that, and now they're containing. I do a slant right, and that counter. There we go. And I do a slant right with a contain, and you still see the left center defensive tackle and the right center defensive tackle. They are still moving to the right side, but you still got to contain. So you can get everything here. Are you struggling with getting beat with the read option? I know it's a big issue that people face, and there is an easy way to stop it. Let's hop into coach adjustments. That is where you are going to make life easy on yourself. If you click the right stick or the right analog stick on, PlayStation, and scroll down to option defense read key, set that to conservative. This will make sure you have a defensive lineman always on the quarterback. So if he fakes hands it off, boom, your defensive end is right there. Defensive pitch key, you always want to have this on aggressive. You want to play the pitch every single time. And then there it is. That's all you need to do. Now watch as I run the read option here. They got me there. I have to hand it off up the middle, but I got nowhere to run. Clogged it up the middle. I have the defender on the left side that is reading the quarterback every time, so I have to hand this off. And unless I get lucky, I might be able to bounce it outside. I might. But because of that, I'm just not able to do anything, and I can't even, look at that. There's no room to run. So if you're struggling against the read option, always set that guy on conservative to play the quarterback, because majority of the time, the quarterback is going to be one-on-one with the defender, and if you can make sure that it's always one-on-one and you're playing the quarterback, they're going to make it that he has to hand it off if he's doing it correctly. Watch what happens when I pull it on accident here and try to outrun this guy. Nothing. I can't even, fake the handoff if I want to, because he's playing me, and even if I try and go outside, there's nowhere that I can go. So again, this is another thing that really, really helps. As I try to go up the middle. Nothing there either. When you have that set up, it's a very simple coaching adjustment. Once you do that, look at that. I try and go outside. Okay, I maybe got lucky there, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to be stopping them. And this is what I set up every single time I play with a fast quarterback. This, and obviously the quarterback contain that I have set up there on defense, are quick things that you can always have set up just in case you run into somebody that has a running quarterback and knows what they're doing with the read option. So that'll do it on defense. If this video did help you guys at all, please leave a like, please subscribe, and comment down below. Are there any specific things that you would like me to go over? Because I know there is a lot of stuff in College Football 25. It's very complex, but if you can figure it out and understand it a little bit, it makes life a little bit easier. It makes the game very, very fun to play. So again, Comment down below if there's anything that you want me to go over that I didn't, whether it's over defense, whether it's over offense, running the ball, passing the ball, usering offensive line slides. Let me know down below. I'd be happy to make a video to help people out, help them win more games, and bring back the glory days of NCAA football. Well, that's going to do it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. That was another edition of Tips with Tees. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.